This is Banging on the Drum. It is another beautiful day in West Central Wisconsin, and welcome to episode 123 of Banging on the Drum. I'm your host, P Dog, joined alongside my other host, M Dog. And M Dog, how you doing today?
Doing great. Having a nice few days to get over my anger with the Packers, so life is good.
Yeah, I was kind of trying to think of that. It is nice to recap them on Sunday nights like we have been doing right after the Sunday games. But it is kind of nice to sit back and like hear some things and see maybe some things weren't as bad as you think they are or as good as they think they are. So it is nice kind of having the hindsight. But I do think I like doing it right after the game better than sitting back because I had to go back, rewatch what I rewatch, and then jog my memory of the game.
Yeah, so I probably should have went back and rewatched it, but I didn't feel good at that game, right?
Yeah,
So
no, it wasn't a pretty one, but I did go back and rewatch it. And there was more positives to pick out than initially. I mean, it was definitely a lot more negatives than positives, but going back and rewatching. But you didn't do it. We're going to get you and the rest of the crowd that's listening's brain going. So we're going to jump right into the Packer game here. This is our all business episode. So we start the game off, pick off right away. It was Stokes with the interception, right?
No, Rudy Ford.
Oh, yeah. Rudy Ford picks him off. Packers get the ball, do absolutely nothing with it. 4 plays for 0 yards, kick a field goal, go up 3-0. Lions get the ball back, just march the ball down the field, just walk the Packers like a dog on a nice stroll, and then cap it off with a wide open touchdown to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Did not look good there. Then the Packers get the ball back, 3 and out, lose 11 yards on the play. If you were watching the game, you heard the announcer say more than a few times, like how the Packers don't even have a yard in the game. And this drive was our first setback of a drive. We punted away. Then the Lions continue to march on us right down the field. David Montgomery, left tackle for 3 yards, touchdown. Okay, so yeah, Montgomery runs that in for the second touchdown of the game for the Lions. And then we get the ball back again. Then Mike, can you guess what we did on this possession?
I'm pretty sure we went 3 and out. We might not have even got any yards.
3 and out. We did get 7 yards though, so a little bit more respectable. Then we punt the ball away. Defense starts to get strong. Just kidding. But this was the one where I was saying Dan Campbell's going to do something crazy. He's going to do something crazy this game. This was the drive. They run the reverse. Whoever gets the reverse takes the ball. What was it? It was a long ass reverse. 30-ish yards. We'll just say 30-ish yards. I can't see it right here. But whatever. Get into field goal range. The Packers do actually hold a little bit stronger in that drive. Hold them to a field goal. Currently, we have the score at 17-3. Packers get the ball back, throw an interception, and then then the Lions have a 2-play, 7-yard drive for a touchdown, capped off with another Montgomery touchdown. We have another 3 and out. So yeah, dude, this is brutal looking back at it just like this, the play-by-play.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
But then we do hold then it goes punt. So we punted, they punt, we punt again. We did get a first down on that drive. Had 5 yards or 5 plays, and then they get a field goal going into half. And the Packers are down 27-3 at half. So, like, what were you feeling at this point in the game?
I was worried that it was going to get like out of hand.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so if they gain another touchdown here, like, I don't even know how, like, you come back from this. In this instant here, it's only 3 scores. Like, that's ridiculous, 3 scores, right? But it is still only 3 scores. It's not easy. I did have way too much optimism right around, like, the end of the third quarter.
Yeah, we'll get into that, though. But, yeah, going into half, like, it just felt like this game was way over. And it's funny that you say that it is a 3-score game because in my head that does not look like a 3-score game to me.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it, but it is, right? So like we're in a position to, and we've been pretty good from the 2-yard line.
Yeah, no, and then here's in the Packers defense. They came out with some fire. Like they were getting pushed around, like I said, like walk like a dog in the first half. They come out in the second half and like their linemen were like fired up, like making some blocks, hitting guys like maybe even a little bit after the play, but they were pissed off. Get the kickoff. Take it down for a 12-play, 86-yard drive, capped off by a Watson touchdown on this one. Great drive there, great response. End up getting the 2-point conversion. I want to say that was to Reed. Yep, it was to Reed. And then the Packers are there, 11-27. And then I had not too much optimism at that point, but then the Packers hold the Lions to a 3 and out where they only gain 1 yard. So I was like, oh damn, maybe we do got some fire here. I think also though is when you're up 27-3, 27-11, they kind of took their foot off the gas, which. Whatever, it's just human nature, I guess. I think. What's that?
I think in a lot of cases. So the Dolphins didn't, the Bills didn't, right? The Dolphins didn't to the Broncos, and then the Bills didn't to the Dolphins.
Yeah, and I think with like the Dolphins, like they're a different case. Like they're a squirrely bunch that you definitely think like, you know, this might not be enough, guys. Like you can actually go in the locker room and give that speech. Like Dan Campbell at halftime was like, I mean, all he could be
They're
saying is
fucking
like,
clowns. Yeah.
yeah,
Like,
like
what are you
good
gonna
job.
say? Yeah.
Yeah, you're beating the shit out of this team. Like they got no life. But they did come out, show some life. Right now we got 11-27. Just held the Lions to a 3-and-out. Packers get the ball back, go 3-and-out again. Whatever. Lions next possession they punt. Then Packers get the ball back after that punt, go 5 plays, 66 yards, cap it off with a Jordan Love touchdown where we fail on the 2-point conversion attempt. But if they got that 2-point conversion attempt, dude, I would have been all in. I think I was actually all
I
back
was.
in
I'm
on it.
still like, I think so. This, what are we at right there? 17-27.
Yep, 17-27. That 2-point conversion obviously would have made it 19-27. So
Right.
one score game with a whole quarter of football to go. So
Yeah, like 12 minutes left, right? 13 minutes, something like that.
yeah. Let me look for sure here. So yeah, no, like it was a whole quarter to go. So oh no, you're right. So it would have been 14 minutes and 52 seconds.
Yeah, that's a whole
Correction. So
fucking quarter. Yeah. I
yeah,
think you got it right. You're in good shape saying a whole quarter.
yeah. But then the Lions, I think, started to feel the pressure a little bit. And when they wanted to do anything, they could do what they wanted to do. So next drive, once again, just walk the Packers down the field. 14-play, 75-yard drive. Took 8 minutes and 52 seconds off the clock on this drive. So just methodically dinking and dunking down the field, taking time off the clock. Just a perfect drive
Well,
to.
so only kind of. So they're kicking the field goal, and Quay Walker gets a
Oh, yep. This was
unsportsmanlike conduct penalty for essentially being too athletic for football. That's what really the call is, right? Am I crazy person saying that? If he lands on a dude, if he jumps over him and lands on somebody's leg, something like that, I think that penalty is warranted, right? If you hit anybody, that penalty is warranted. I don't think that penalty should be warranted in any other circumstance.
Yeah, I get where you're going with it. I knew this was a penalty. Like even when I
think
seen him,
like in the back of my mind, I just hate it. It doesn't make any sense.
yeah, and the flag came out super late too, which didn't help the aesthetics of the penalty. Because like when I watched it, like I was saying, I was like, I'm pretty sure Quay Walker can't do what he just did. Like I don't think he's supposed to do what he just did. And I mean, he should have known better.
Yep.
I think he's definitely going to be one of our strengths of this game, though, if he falls into any of the categories of the SWAT that we're going to be doing after this. But yeah, I like where you're going with that. But I just think then you just get into too grave an area where if a guy does do that, lands on a guy's ankle or something, I don't know if that's even the reason why. I honestly think the reason why is like it's too easy for these guys to do that sometimes.
No, so but that's on the offense to figure out how to solve that problem. Like that's what football is a mental problem solving game in a physical world, right? So it's like chess. You're playing chess, but with like super athletes.
Do you remember the first leaping call? The first leaping call I remember. Do you remember a leaping call in the past?
I remember one, and I can't remember who it was, but I think they used someone instead of like they used somebody like they put their hand on him to be able to reach higher or something like that. I want to say it was like one of the middle linebackers, maybe like a Nick Barnett.
So this wasn't even a Packers game, the one I was thinking of. So, okay. But the first time I really remember it, and I think one of the first times it was maybe called in the NFL because I remember when on the call, like they were so surprised by it. But it was, I want to say it was the Colts versus Tampa Bay, and it was like Peyton Manning. It might be the biggest comeback in NFL history. It was one of those games, like and yeah, the Colts whatever benefited from it. I can't remember which way, but everybody was like leaping. What the heck is leaping? But if leaping is a penalty, Quay Walker definitely leaped to get over that guy. So yeah, but yeah, no, I like where you're going with that. I could see it going either way because then what do? You like kind of put like a H-back or something in the area where they can jump that can just get under their, I don't know, under their pads and just hold them off.
Well, so like you could just like risk his life if you decide to do that. So if you're the guard in that situation and you're getting jumped over and you just fucking slap at his feet, he's going to land on his goddamn head, and that's on him.
That's
right?
true.
And so like, but I have that same attitude about wide receivers over the middle. I don't think that like big hits over the middle should be penalized, right? Because I think that that's part of the game that is like, don't go make that catch. Like if you want to protect your brain and you want to protect all this, like your lifestyle and the game, don't run routes over the middle and don't catch the ball when there's a linebacker standing there. And like if you get lit up, that's on you. Now I get guys don't think like that. Like that's not the way athletes think. They never do. But I think that's part of the game. Is like if you're scared to go over the middle, it's a lot harder to like run an offense through the middle of the field.
No, and I like to usually give you pushback with some of these, but I completely agree with you. It's like if it's part of the game, it's part of the game. And like if you got a guy that's willing to do that and will help you out by sacrificing his body, that should be like a benefit to you as a team. If you got guys that don't want to do it, don't attack the middle anymore, and your team's gonna suffer a little bit. So it is what it is. And I always remember
it's part of the game now. Like and so like I want to say like in 2004, 2005, like they let guys light people up.
Yeah,
like that's what I mean. Pre that too, anytime pre that, maybe like right around then is when it's really started to change. And I get that it's no longer part of the game.
Well, and there was a certain skill too to the quarterback and the receiver's relationship where, like, you know, Favre would have to be like, you know, if I really have to get my guy laid out, I might do it. But if I don't have to lay him out, I'm not going to throw that ball to get him laid out. So I think fell more back on the quarterback than it does now. So
Yeah, and there's another like rule thing that I think is a little bit goofy that I saw this weekend. Did you watch the Commanders and the Eagles game at all?
I did not get to watch much football this weekend. I was
Oh yeah.
driving up from Florida to Tennessee.
Anyway, I don't remember which wide receiver it was for the Commanders, but he catches the ball and he lands on the guy's arm. The guy's arm is like fully in bounds, and so this guy's foot would come down in bounds if like 100%. And the guy, it's like a difference of like 2.5 inches, right? Whatever the thickness of this dude's arm is. But
Yeah.
the toe rolls to the rolls to the sideline and hits the sideline. And it was inconclusive either way. But I think in the past that would have been like a forced out of bounds due to the defender, where now it's just a like out of bounds. Like there's no gray area with it. And
Yeah.
like,
So you think he landed on his arm in bounds? So he should be in
no,
bounds.
it would have 100% been in bounds if like his arm isn't there, right? And so it was just weird. No, I actually like I'm a defensive apologist, so I like the rule. The thing that I never understand is when you run the jump ball, why these guys don't just carry him out of bounds. Like if Justin Jefferson's running a jump ball on me, I'm going to let him catch it, and I'll just carry him out of bounds.
Yeah, but then
Like,
I
I don't
think
understand why they don't do that because they're all right there. Like that should be what's taught is like if you're going into that corner and you think it's coming, get your head up, look for him to catch it, and carry him out. Like just we're pushing straight towards the out of bounds. You're carrying him as much as you can.
but then I think you're gonna fall into another area where it's gonna turn into, say, I'll just use you and me for example. Like if I'm jumping to catch a ball like in the end zone and I catch the ball, but you catch me, this is a dumb situation just to lay it out.
Yeah.
But
No,
you
no,
catch me and then carry me out of the back of the end zone. I think you're just it's kind of like the forward momentum type thing is like, like you couldn't.
Yeah, so right now that's not the way the rule is, right? So it's like like the receiver puts his 2 feet in bounds or he doesn't.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what that arm would do. So his arm was laying flat on the ground, right? And a guy stepped on it and he was out of bounds. So like that's the same as that rule. Like if you're down in bounds and the guy's on top of you, then he's down in bounds or whatever. That's apparently not the way it works.
Yeah, no, I'm actually more confused now because I thought if he caught it and he landed on a guy in bounds, then he would be good to go. But he was not good to go.
Correct.
He was out of bounds. Okay. Yeah, no, I didn't even know that. But anyways, let's get back to the Packer game here. So
Yeah, sorry.
Not much more going on. So after they score that touchdown, we throw an interception right away. They punt it, we get a field goal, and then they end the game on a 6-play 2-minute and 52-second drive, just milk the clock dry. But after that interception, the game was basically over. So I guess the Packers could have got a touchdown, but that is the recap of the game. And let's get into the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And I will let you go. Well, I was the one that wrote the strength. Do you want me to start with the strength?
Yeah, go for it.
So yeah, strength in this game, I thought, was the way the Packers came out in the second half. Like they didn't completely lose hope in this game. And they were pissed off and embarrassed that they were getting the shit kicked out of them so bad that they came out and showed some fight. And I think if they started the game with the energy that they started the second half with, I still don't know if you're walking away with a win in this game, but it's going to be a way better game. I know, like I was saying, they let off the gas a little bit, so it's kind of hard to gauge that. But I definitely do think the Packers came out flat and have been coming out flat, and they just got to stop doing that. I mean, we're down 17-0 to the Saints, had to come back and win that game. I can't remember if we came out firing against Atlanta. We definitely did against the Bears, but the Bears are the Bears. Like that's not a real gauge. Right? Yeah, it's not a real gauge. But yeah, the way they fought in the second half, I would say, is a good strength. And like just the guys coming up with big catches. Toure came up with like a pretty insane catch, and it does look like our weapons that we thought were going to be one of the bigger question marks of the season aren't even really the hugest weakness that we thought. And we will get into the weaknesses, but I do want to put one more strength in there because Quay Walker was all over the fucking field. Like he looks like an absolute stud. And with Devondre Campbell down, he had to step up. And I think he did a hell of a job stepping up. Yeah, he got that one dumb penalty, but what do you have? 19 tackles in the game? Yeah. And I mean, he's just having a great season. He's got that touchdown on the year already. So Quay Walker is on Pro Bowl watch, in my opinion.
Well, I can't imagine if you're like running down 15 tackles game, 10 to 15 tackles a game, that you're not going to be right there, right?
Yeah. And then
I don't know what like good amount of tackles is in the NFL. I'm not positive on that, but I can't imagine most guys are running around and getting 200 tackles a year.
Yeah, I think 200 is a little bit much. But yeah, no, I would say like 170, like 10 tackles a game ish is going to get you in that category if that's your calling. If you're the AJ Hawk of the team, if you're the middle linebacker, that's
Blake Martinez.
Kind of the more run stopper of the group. But yeah, I think it would have been a miss if we didn't put him in there as having a great game.
Yeah. So with you saying like the second half of this game, like they come out and fight, I'd like to throw like Jordan Love in the second half of games is a plus. Like that's a strength of the team. In the first quarter, maybe not so much. Third quarter and on, I think that he kind of kills it.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you get him to come out and like dial up, 3 touchdowns in the first half, and then kind of shit the bed. I'd be much rather see that than shit in the bed early and then being down 27-3. But
Yeah,
I like what he's doing in the second half. I think that he's making the throws. I think our wide receivers, which I was worried about them being like anywhere near good enough, are plenty good.
I agree.
I think they're making the catch. I mean, we've had a few moments where they weren't making the catches, but as the season goes, I think we're going to be in really, really good shape. I think we have 4 guys that are good.
Yeah, they're blossoming. Like
Yeah.
Musgrave, he deserves a touchdown. If he doesn't get a touchdown, that is going to be my fantasy advice of the week. If you're looking for a tight end to just get a touchdown, next week is his touchdown.
Well, be careful with Musgrave. He got taken out for a concussion.
Oh shit. Yep.
That's part of the reason that he didn't have much for yards and stuff like that in this game.
Yeah, I still keep looking back to that Saints game where Love missed him, like running wide open down the seam. But
yeah,
so I keep thinking they're like, oh, we got to make up for that one. We got to make up for that one. And I keep thinking this next week. So next time he starts, if you need a tight end, start him.
I've been trying to acquire him in a few leagues and nobody wants to give him up, even if they have a good tight end in front of them.
Is that a dynasty league or is that?
No, just a regular one. But I think so. Right now I'm streaming guys and it is not going well. I got 0 out of my tight end yesterday. So Musgrave would be a huge upgrade. And I like to have Packers if I think they're plus guys. So.
Yep.
And I didn't have to overspend on them. Didn't get them.
All right, let's roll into the weaknesses here. What do you got, Mike? You're taking over from on out.
Yeah. So our weaknesses for like the biggest weakness I think I'm seeing is not even on the defensive side of the ball currently. It is the run blocking. Our run blocking feels atrocious. Like we can't do anything. I don't think that we lack talent at the running back position. I don't think we're awesome, right? I don't think we have these elite level running backs outside of Aaron Jones, but our run blocking isn't doing us any favors there either. They are just struggling. The offensive line did not do well this game. I mean, Detroit's defense is good. I give you that, but like we need to be better than that. Like we can't have games like that, especially against good teams. And Detroit is a playoff team. Like I can't see anybody else in the NFC North like winning the North. I mean, I get that we're only essentially 1 game behind them, but I don't see anybody winning the North except for the Lions. If the Packers do, I'll be super, super happy. But we're gonna have to get on a run and really start like crushing teams, and the Lions are gonna have to hit a skid, which I don't see happening. They're gonna get losses here and there, but I don't see them hitting that hard skid.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna say the numbers back you up. So for rushing in this game, the Packers only had 12 attempts, 2.3 yards a carry for 27 yards. I don't think it helps that Aaron Jones was there and hurt, and they were definitely trying to ease him back into a game.
Right.
And I think he was playing more Terrell Davis with a migraine football is let's make them think that Aaron Jones is healthy. And I'm like Packers Twitter just goes like nuts. They're like, why didn't they give him 100 carries that game? And I was like, I'm pretty sure it's probably because he's not anywhere near 100%. He's just suiting up to for the chess piece of the game.
Yeah, and so like, see, I'm kind of split into both camps on that. So I even think with Dylan, if you rushed him 25 times in a game, like say we don't have Aaron Jones, and you rush Dylan 25 times in a game, he's not going to come out with 52 yards, right? Like that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But now, if you go 3 and out, 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 3 and out to start a game, it was only 3 and outs. I exaggerate a little bit, but if you run 9 plays, it's almost impossible to run those 9 plays all run plays, right? And like to start trying to wear the defense out if you're getting -2 yards or 1 yard every carry. So to get a guy 25 yards when we can't even move the ball, or 25 carries when you can't even move the ball with a running game, you just can't do it because you're going to have to throw 1 or 2 times in those 3 downs, especially if you lose 2 or 3 yards. Second and third down are both almost always passing down.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I think it's just a way to nitpick the like coaching staff too. Is they were kind of in a jam, like because like you said, the run blocking was atrocious. Even if we were handing the ball off on first down, then there was no way because then if we handed off on second down, everybody would have been like, why the fuck they handed off on second down? Didn't you see what happened on first down?
Yeah, it was 2nd and 13. Yeah, like it's a no-win situation, especially when you're getting dominated up front like that.
Yeah. So,
but I am in both camps. I want to see 25 carries out of our running backs every game. Like that's what I want to see, like on a personal level. That wasn't going to work on Thursday night though, and so my mind is just conflicted.
Yeah, no, it was bad. And then you had our run defense was not great, and David Montgomery gashed us 32 yards, 120. I mean, he had 32 carries, 121 yards, and 3 touchdowns in that game. So
and then Gibbs had another 60 yards.
Yeah, Gibbs had 8 carries for 40 yards. As a team, they ran the ball 43 yards, 4.9 yards a carry for 211 yards. Yeah. And then also with that being said, and you already heard what the Packers did, the Lions dominated the time of possession, and let's just go even with it. So it's 38 minutes to 22 minutes is what the time of possession was. And you're not going to win a football game with the time of possession looking like that.
It'd be rare, right? And so, and really, like if you're getting 5 yards on a carry, you can run it on second down. And even if you get 3, you're still in really good shape to run it on third down. Like you can run 3 plays in a row if that's what happened. And I mean, the Packers weren't in that situation, and the Lions were in that situation.
Yeah, they were running for a first down every 2 carries. So, Yeah, I can't recall what the long run. If so, yeah, that that reverse to
Yeah.
Khalif Raymond was 40 yards. So when I was going through that,
Did you
so
mean Khalif Raymond?
yeah, Khalif, Khalif, Khalif Raymond. No,
Like
I
it
think
sounds like you're saying Cliff, and I was like Cliff.
it's Kalif. Khalif.
I'm pretty sure it's Khalif.
I think you're right. I mean, that sounds way more right, but I feel like I'd want that to be an E to be
Yep, I got you.
reading that as Khalif. But all right, so weaknesses: run blocking, run defense. You
Yep.
got any more, or you want to move on to some of the opportunities here?
I think that's the ones that I really see. I did see a couple of formations down by the goal line that I didn't think were good, which just comes down to like Joe Barry, right? That like it almost looked like we were rushing the passer on, you know, second and goal or whatever it was, and it's like, they're going to run it. They've been killing us with the run the whole game. You need to have 5 defensive linemen down there, and you only got 3, and so that is what it is, though. I'm not going
Yeah,
to lose my mind too much on that kind of stuff.
and I'll touch on real quick is so maybe this was like a strength from a weakness, but discipline wise, the Packers were actually better in that game. So only 4 penalties for 31 yards. So I want to say like our games before it, we were racking up over 100 yards of
Yeah, and
like
like 10, 11
penalty.
penalties, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
so the Saints was atrocious, right?
yeah, it was bad.
Right. So opportunities. I think our biggest opportunity right now is we're going to have time off. So we have 10 days this week to play on Monday night. I think it's 10. We play Monday night against the Raiders, and so we can get guys healthy. Watson should be 100% healthy. Should be able to play the entire game against the Raiders. Didn't do that against the Lions, and maybe for like good reason. You're down 27-3. It's kind of like, all right, we're going to start dialing him back right now, because if he's at 90%, we don't want to like make that 80% going into this week. Same with Jones. Should be able to be back coming up at our next game, I'm hoping. So obviously the coaching staff and the medical staff didn't think he was 100% there last week. Otherwise they would have played him differently, I think. But time is on our, and so we have the opportunity to get healthy, and then on top of that to set things right. And we kind of need to do that now if we want to have a successful season. And by a successful season, I would say making the playoffs, right? Like that would be exceptionally successful for what I think the Packers are this year, is to make the playoffs. And the way I'm kind of looking at this is, so if you're breaking the NFL season down into quarters, if we take our extra game now, we can win this quarter, and then just concentrate on going 3-1 in each of the next quarters, and I'd be fine with that. So that would end us up with 5 losses.
Yeah, I'll take that.
And that's 12 wins and 5 losses. I'd love that, like that. But you'd have to win each quarter. That'd be tough to do. Each quarter of the season, and give 5 to the first side.
And it's always tough saying this, but we do have a pretty weak schedule coming up with the Raiders, then the Broncos. The Vikings are never going to be an easy team for the Packers. I think, yes, last year the Vikings overperformed big time, but I do think on the opposite end of that, they're underperforming big time this year, and they're going to come to play against the Packers. But yeah, the schedule looks like fairly favorable to chunk it out, like you were saying, quarter by quarter, and have a winning record in each of those quarters. So
even if we go 50-50 in 2 of those quarters, if we win 2, so like winning 2 is going to put us at like a 6-3, and then 8-10. Like you can still get to 10 wins by having 50% on those, a couple of those quarters, right? And so, but if you got to come out and you got to play well against the Raiders and the Broncos. So I'll get into my threats kind of right away, and that would be that teams start understanding that running the ball against the Packers is, for lack of a better term, easy, right? And if we go into a Raiders game and McDaniels understands that running the ball is easy against the Packers, as big of a fucking clown as that guy is, we're gonna have problems, because Josh Jacobs is exceptionally good, and if they start running it down our throat and start taking yard after yard after yard from us, we're going to lose that game. Like if they can control the clock 38 minutes to 22 or whatever, we don't win. That's not a recipe for us winning games, is to have them have the ball in their hands and just march it down the field on us consistently. Even if you can hold them to field goals, it's going to be tough to win games.
Yep. No, I agree with you. Yeah, but the Lions, I will say, you got to give them all the credit in this game, because they came out and whooped our ass in every aspect of the game. They were better defensively. They were better offensively. Their scheme seemed better. Everything seemed smarter. Like when they needed to do something, they did something. So they're a legitimately good team. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be fun to see where the Packers measure up to them on Thanksgiving when they play them again. Because it'll be a good measuring stick game. And we have 2 get-right games. So if the Packers lose either of these games, like, don't get me wrong, it's the NFL. Like, you can lose to any team on any given Sunday. That's why there's a movie called Any Given Sunday. But yeah, I'll be far less optimistic. I didn't lose too much hope in the Packers season this year, partially because I think we're kind of playing with house money in my mind with the first year of Love is, hey, let's get it figured out, see if he's the guy, and then we'll go from there. So I'm still high on Love. I love Love. So I'm good to go. I do enjoy this team. And I think these next 2 weeks, I think we'll straighten it out for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I think honestly, I think in the first 4 games, we've decided that Love is going to be the guy moving forward. It'll be putting those pieces around him. And honestly, I think outside of the running back position, we have those pieces around him in the skill position players, right? So I don't know how long Aaron Jones plays for the Packers yet, which is disappointing. I think that he's great. He's dinged up right now, but we don't have a secondary running back. And I could see next year if there's guys that are like, I mean, I
Braylon
think
Allen come to the team.
Braylon Allen. I'm
The
yeah,
Badgers running back.
yeah, yeah. I mean, maybe I don't know that I love the way he runs, like physicality wise, and like not sure. But so this year coming out in the draft was Robinson and Jameer Gibbs, and then you have like a guy like Chan for the Dolphins that came out. There's probably a guy or two in the draft, and you could do what you did with tight end and be like, all right, we're going to throw 3 picks at these dudes and see like who kind of pans out.
Yeah.
Or wide receivers. Or we threw what? Did we draft 3 last year, and then we drafted another 3
we
this
dropped
year?
it. Yeah, it seemed like.
So we took Watson, Dobbs, and Torrey last year, and then this year we took Reed, Wicks, and there's another one. I can't think of who it is. He didn't make the team though.
Grant Dubois from Charlotte.
And then like they went out and signed a couple guys like that Malik Heath, who is on the team, who's gotten some play when guys are dinged up. So you could do something like that with the running back, which I believe is kind of what they did when they took Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams in the same year. I think Jamal Williams was like a 3rd round pick, and then Jones was like a 6th. And it just happened that Jones panned out better than Williams did in our system.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean we did drop this Lou Nichols III, but I assume he didn't make the team. Actually, I know he didn't make the team.
No, he didn't make the team. That Emmanuel Wilson. He might have been injured though, is part of the reason he didn't make the team.
Yeah.
But yeah, like if you take and you just use a little bit higher draft capital on guys like 2nd and 3rd round guys instead of 5th and 6th round guys, there's a good opportunity that somebody's going to pan out there.
Yeah, no, and I mean, like we said, house money seems like a good problem to have. If we got the quarterback, get the running back, hopefully this offensive line sacks up a little bit and starts giving us a push up front so we can run the ball a little bit more. But I do think a fully healthy Jones does help motivate him to do it.
A fully healthy offensive line does that too. I think.
Yeah,
so I heard that one guy was dinged up, and then we are down to our 2nd string on the entire left side of the line. That's not ideal. Like to pretend that losing Bakhtiari is good for us in any way, shape, or form is dumb, right?
Yeah.
We would really like him to be on the field. It's disappointing that this injury has sapped 3 years of his career. It'd be awesome if he could come back. I just don't really see how, or like I don't see a path for him to come back really.
Yeah, and I mean the articles I'm seeing, I didn't click on any of them, but just headlines is like it looks like Bakhtiari's career in Green Bay is not looking, or future in Green Bay is not looking promising. So that is sad to see because that was one of the best offensive linemen we've ever seen play in our lifetime.
Well, especially for the Packers, right?
Yeah, for the Packers. But yeah, I think that will wrap up the Packers stuff unless you have anything more.
No, I don't have anything more. I think we should roll out the barrel here.
All right, we are going to roll out the barrel. Fair disclosure here, we're expecting to have a guest on to talk about this stuff. So I was hoping he could give us a little bit more insight on, I want to say the Arizona Cardinals, the Arizona Diamondbacks. But if we just get into that right off the bat, I was saying I do not like to cheer for what opponent we are going to be playing. But in the back of my mind, I wanted it to be the Marlins so much more than I wanted it to be the Diamondbacks. And honestly, all I can say is I did have that good stretch in the summer where I was watching a lot of those recap rundowns. And the Diamondbacks are just a team that can play some baseball. They have the best defense in the league. I'm going to scroll over to them real quick. I know they have 2 good pitchers, but with them having to pitch down the stretch and trying to win games to jockey for position, they're not going to have them for games 1 and 2 in this series, which kind of does help us out. We did run into some bad news as Brewers. It does look like we're going to get Burns right off the bat, but Woodruff has some sort of shoulder injury, and it does not look like he's going to be playing in the wild card round. So let's cross our fingers and hope that it is just the wild card round that Woodruff is going to be missing. So I don't know where we're going with this because you only get a 26 player roster for that wild card position. And I was reading an article into this, and they do some interesting stuff to not carry some guys and carry some guys. Just to give us the best opportunity for this one. But the one I was reading, I don't think the Woodruff news had came out yet. So I don't know where they're going to go with that one. Is it going to be Colin Ray? Is it going to be Adrian Hauser? Hopefully it's just Corbin Burns and Peralta, and then we're done with it. But I'm going to run through.
Would you consider starting like a Wade Miley to like?
Yeah, or Wade Miley. Yeah.
So for like the purpose of like, I'm going to start this guy in my first game, dominant strike thrower, like fastballs, like crushing it, like speed type guy, like looking for whiffs, where Miley's like a completely different style of pitcher.
Yeah, and I definitely would if we win game one. I don't think
Yeah,
you go out there and be like, all right, let's throw Corbin Burns. We lose the game, and then we're like, well, let's roll the dice here in game two and give Miley a chance. I mean, Miley's a good pitcher in his own right, but I just don't think you would shy away from your number two guy
right.
in that situation. And then I think, yeah, it's dependent for sure on how the Brewers do in game one. I think if you win game one, I'm using the house money term a little bit too much in this one, but you got a game up, you can risk it a little bit more. Throw Miley. If he wins that one, then you have Peralta ready to go for game one of the next series. Hopefully Woodruff back for game two. If not, Burns would already be back for game two, then Woodruff, and then you really could roll into it. So yeah, I think that's a good point that you brought up. I think if you win game one, you throw a Miley or something else second.
All right. So I got another question for you. Are these consecutive day games?
So yeah, these are
Not day games like noon, but like, are these like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday?
yeah, from what I'm gathering, I'm gonna double check myself real quick before I keep giving false facts on the baseball playoffs. Yeah, because I've been so wrong about every aspect of how the MLB playoffs go. But yeah, so we play tomorrow at 6:08, and then we play Wednesday at 6:08, and then Thursday, time to be determined, but they would play on Thursday as well. So it is three games right in a row. So there's
All
no throwing Burns in game one and game three type
right. So
deal.
608, is that like an ode to like the Wisconsin area code? Is that why you play at 608 instead of 605?
I think they do stuff like that. So yeah, that might be. But I think Milwaukee's the 414 though. So I
Yeah,
don't
but you're
know.
not starting at 414 if the MLB tells you you can't.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
like that. I think it is 608 because I think the White Sox used to be sponsored by 7-Eleven and they would
yeah,
start their games at 7-Eleven. So,
I'm pretty sure that's accurate. Like I remember a story about something like that. So all right.
but
So yeah,
yeah,
I was just wondering like how it kind of sets up. If there's going to be if this is like the NBA where you get 17 days off in a 3 game series.
no. This wild card round is pretty aggressive, pretty fast, can bounce
Yeah,
even
you
good
know,
teams very quick. Um, and I think that's just the advantage of the
being at the top, right?
getting a one or two seed in the MLB. And I think that's how it should be. Like when you have a season that's 162 freaking games, like you should get like a pearl, to
Well,
you should get a good advantage in when it comes to the postseason.
I want to say that like when we were kids, it was just the top two teams.
Hmm.
Like it was like the NL East and the NL West, and that was it.
No, yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah, I mean, when we were real young, I mean, we
Yeah,
could,
real young. So the wild card probably came in like the mid '90s.
yeah, but then even still with the wild card, it was the wild card round, the championship round, and then the World Series. So
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
yeah, only a few teams making it. But yeah, let's do a little Arizona Diamondbacks research. So if you haven't heard of Corbin Carroll yet, I think you've been sleeping under a rock. So rookie this year, he is hitting 285, has 161 hits on this season, 54 stolen bases. From the little bit I've read and just looking at the stats that I'm looking at here, the Diamondbacks will run wild. And I do think when they played the Brewers, they were 8 for 8 stealing the ball. I want to say they have some of the most stolen bases in the league, and then one of the highest percentages, something like 86% of the time, they don't get caught stealing. So if they get on the bases, they're going to run wild. Then you have Christian Walker, who is their big bat in the lineup. So he's hit 33 home runs this year, had 103 RBIs. He is hitting 258 on the season as a team. I think the Brewers and the Diamondbacks are both hitting 250. So pretty similar styles of teams coming into this. It's going to be more your speed, defense, and pitching. And honestly, it's tough for this Brewers team with as good as defenses they have been playing all season to go into a series and be not the better defensive team. Um, I think that was going to be a rarity this year with how great the Brewers are at playing defense, but this is the team that is better than them at defense. It's a little bit better than them on the bases. Hits pretty similar to them, but what the Brewers have is Corbin Burns and Willie Peralta. And we thought it was going to be Woodruff, but Woodruff is down. As for pitching for these guys on this season, I am just going to figure out who the guys with the best ERAs on their team are. And Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, both have had really good seasons. Gallen has a 3.47 ERA, and then Kelly has a 3.29 ERA. But I'm pretty sure, like I was saying before, I think those two guys had to pitch down the stretch, so they're not going to be in game one or two. So if we can get out of the series before we have to face a Gallen or a Kelly, which it does seem like they would be throwing Kelly at us, just from how the numbers line up. But it does seem like I feel like I'm saying it wrong, and I should know this guy's name. Gallon. It's not Gallon. Gallon. Whatever. I'm gonna get hung up on that, but
Guyan, is he Hispanic? Or
no,
a
he's not.
double L is going to make a Y or something like that?
No. Yeah, it's just throwing me off there. But yeah, they have a solid pitching staff. So as a team, they have a 4.48 ERA. So if we are ranking it across the board, like I said, my research on the Diamondbacks just goes to recap rundowns when the Brewers have played them this season. I'm not going out of my way to watch Diamondback games on my free time, even though if there was a team I would go out and watch. Maybe not Diamondbacks number one, but they were
I
up
think
there.
you're
They
a
were.
Reds guy.
I was. Yeah, Reds were explosive. Diamondbacks were great. Texas Rangers were fun to watch. But yeah, they definitely fell into like my radars where I was like, these teams are deadly. Reds obviously fell off a little bit. This is going to be an Andrew Chafin revenge series. So I think we're going to see some Chafe Dog in there. The pitcher we acquired at the trade deadline. Mike looked at me with a little bit of a blank stare, but
I knew that was the guy we traded for.
Okay, good.
He's the one who looks like a Brewer, right?
Yep.
Long hair, mustache. He looks like Bernie, kind of.
Yeah. So what did we say their ERA on the season was, Mike? 4.46.
Yep.
All right. So we'll go over to the Brewers, who have a 3.71. So yeah, we have a pretty significant advantage against them in the pitching category. Our bullpen is electric. And then I just want to see where the hitting lines up. And no, they hit a little bit better than us. We're 240 on this season. But do you want to? We are going longer than we normally go on our straight business episode. It has been straight business.
Yeah, I just want to touch one thing real quick before we kind of sign off here. What do you think we need to do in order? So you've touched on that we got to hit the pitching, right? Like, or not hit the pitching. We got to pitch well, right?
Yeah.
So, but like that's what the Brewers do is like if we don't pitch well, we don't win games. Period. It doesn't matter either way, right? So, what else do we have to do in order to like win in these first three games?
So Yelich,
first two games maybe.
I think Yelich is going to be huge. Yelich just needs to keep playing the way that he's been playing. He's had that back injury late in the season. He came back and he showed us he was still doing well. So we need Yelich to be the anchor of the team that he can be in this game. And then we just need another dude that's. So right now it looks like pretty consistently we're going to have Yelich hitting. We're going to have Contreras hitting. We're going to have Canna hitting. Monasterio will get some hits in there and stuff. But we just need someone in the back half of the lineup to get hot. We need Blake Perkins to get hot. We need Tyrone Taylor to get hot. We need a unsung hero to heat up and have a series for us.
All right. Which guys are going to be? Who's the guy that right now hasn't been there? He's going to be Mr. October for the Brewers.
All right. I think the easy answer that I would want to say is it's going to be Willy Adames. But if I'm going to get a little swirly with it, I'm going to go Turang. But you told me I can only pick one. I'm going to say Turang is going to be our guy in the wild card round that hits 2 homers. And then I think Willy Adames will heat up for us in the divisional round. And then I'm not going to get too ahead of my horses in that one. But yeah, I'll go Turang is going to hit a couple big bombs in this. And then I had the lineup that I wanted starting. Rotation, like I said, it would be chalk. If we had Woodruff here, it would be Burns Woodruff. I think Mike threw in a good point. I think if Burns wins game 1, we throw one of our other guys. We don't throw Peralta in game 2. We try either Hauser, whoever Craig Counsell's feeling that day. I like your pick in Miley. But
so I like the idea of taking and throwing Miley for the first 3 innings and then bringing Peralta in for another 3 innings and then going right to our bullpen. So, which I do think Craig Counsell is kind of like a genius when it comes to some of that stuff, that he is more than willing to fuck with teams, be like, oh, you think you might be you've seen this guy once. All right, now you're going to not see him again the rest of the time.
I don't like that with Peralta. I mean, I like that with other guys, but I think if you got an ace in the hole, you're not going to show it. Like,
if you're up 3-0 in the 3rd inning and they're going to come around on Miley for a second time in game 2, you're not going to tell Peralta to finish the game?
I don't think so. I think that's like you're up 3-0. So then obviously Miley's pitching all right. And you've been getting
great.
Yeah. And then you've been getting away with it all season to win 92 games this year. I think you just trust your process at that point and you say Willie Peralta for if you really need him in game 3. I think you try to get away with it without using Peralta. But I think ultimately we're dumb and they just go Burns if they win game 1, throw Peralta over to end it. So I mean, I think our hypothetical situation is going to strictly be hypothetical and we might not get to see that play. But I did like that. I liked your little mad scientist wrinkle. I would
overthink myself into a loss probably as a Major League Baseball manager.
Yeah, I know. Me too. And I would still have like Ryan Braun on the team, so I can't say too much. Jeff Jenkins would still be playing right field for us right now if I was I guess that would be more of a GM thing. But yeah, I got too much loyalty to my guys.
Where would Bill Hall be playing? Center, shortstop, second base?
He'd be playing wherever the heck he wanted to play. I'd be like,
where do
Bill,
you want to play today, Bill?
Bill, you want to pitch? You want to catch? You want to play shortstop, left, right, center? You can do it. But yeah, I'll leave you guys here with the lineup I want to see. And I don't know if we've seen this quite yet. I didn't watch. So I was watching the game where the Cubs got eliminated because the Marlins won a game. And the Cubs did end up beating us in that game. But then I was like, it's football season right now. I got some stuff going on. I'm not going to tune into two Brewers games that don't mean anything on out. And I say that, and I think I did tune into a little bit because I know Canna was leading off in one game. But this is the lineup I want to see. I like Sal Frelick hitting one. Takes a lot of pitches, fights off pitches. He just had smart at bats, makes the pitcher work right off the bat. Yelich, 2, being our best hitter. You're going to want him to come up as much as possible. Hopefully, Sal Frelick's on base when that happens. Then 3, we go with Contreras, who's been pretty much Mr. Rocksteady for us. He's hitting 291 on the season, and that was coming up. I want to say at the All-Star break, he was hitting 278, and so he's just been continuing to hit. Then I want Canna, who's been ripping the cover off the ball at DH. And then we're going to do kind of a Rowdy Santana split in the 5 spot. So whoever we're feeling at first base that day. And then we're going to go Monasterio 6, playing third base, Willie Adames 7, playing shortstop, Bryce Drain 8. And then we're going to go back to Garrett Mitchell, who has just come up. Maybe that's the guy I'm going to say. Maybe that's the hinge pin. He comes back. Last time we had Matt Chad on the show, he was telling us before he went down, the Brewers were 7 games above 500. And then they get into the All-Star break when we had Matt Chad on, and they basically were still 7 games above 500. So they were 500 without him, and which is interesting because I want to look at the WAR real quick. So right now our highest WAR guy is Contreras at 3.7, Yelich 3.6. Surprisingly, Willie Adames at 3. I do not see Garrett Mitchell on here. Oh, he's at 0.5. So
but that comes down to defense and all that other bullshit too.
Yeah, that bullshit defense. But
no, I'm just saying there's a lot of stats that are going to go into WAR, right?
Yeah.
That don't just have to do with hitting, where Adames has struggled at the plate this
year. Yeah. So that is our Brewers Arizona preview / roll out the barrel. We were going to maybe give away some awards today, but I think we'll save that for after the Brewers season is over and they win the World Series. So that's when we'll save that for. But as always, thank you for listening. We appreciate the support. Please like, subscribe, download. We love you. And Mike, what do you got for him?
Well, so there's one quick thing. Thanks for following us into October.
Ooh, there we go. There we go.
No, I was trying to think of that like basically the whole time you were going through the lineup. So, but I think October was also. I have one like hypothetical question here that deals with baseball and October. If you're a baseball guy, would it be out of pocket to name your kid October?
Yeah, I don't know. I've been thinking a lot lately. But I think it's weird to any name I've seen a kid get, it tends to end up fitting them. I mean, I think that's just like the nature of the beast. I don't know where you could go with October. So yeah, I think that would be a pretty interesting one. But if someone's kid name was October, I'd probably.
Would you expect them to be good at baseball?
Yeah, you would have to at that point.
Or very scary for Halloween. One of the two.
Yep. Yeah. There's only 2 directions that you could go. I mean, I'm gonna put my foot down. I don't think October's a great name, but
I don't love the name October. I'm just saying, like, if your dad was like a huge baseball guy and you were Patrick October Jerome, right? Like then you could just be like, my middle name's October, right? When it comes around.
Yeah, no, I take it back. It's a bad name. You got to earn the October in your name.
Okay.
You got to earn October. Then you can change your name if that so fit you.
Like Ocho Cinco.
Exactly. 85. Let's go. He earned 85. Yelich is going to be Christian October Yelich after this year.
No. You said it was going to be Bryce or Garrett.
Bryce October Terrain. I like that. Yep.
The Terrain Gang is going to come out, and for anybody who's doubting the Badgers, the Brewers, the Bucks, or the Packers, you can eat our shorts. Roll.
All them suckers that doubted the Packers can't eat my shorts. All them suckers that doubted the Packers can't eat my shorts. Beat them. All them suckers that doubted the Packers can't eat my shorts. Eat my shorts.